Hey everyone, it's Lindey. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to give y'all a little bit of insight as to why bin stores really suck right now. So right now there's this really big consensus that bin stores just generally suck right now. Whether they suck as a business owner owning a bin store or it sucks from the customer perspective of shopping at a bin store. As a whole, bin stores have just been going downhill for a really, really long time. And so I kind of just wanted to talk about why that is today, because believe it or not, it really does affect consumers. It affects bin store shoppers. It affects business owners. And so having a basic understanding of why exactly this is happening could help you gain some perspective on the entire market as a whole. So this is actually the second time I've tried to record this video. The first time that I recorded this video, I was honestly not really happy with how this video was being presented. I feel like the first time I tried to record this video, I was in a very negative mind space because most of my perception of bin stores as the owner is extremely negative right now. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And I wanted to kind of shed some light on it because it seems like multiple times a week now, I have several customers just absolutely disappointed with my store. I hear customers complain about other bin stores. I hear comments like, wow, this used to be so much better, or I don't shop there anymore because the inventory sucks. Customers say things like, I don't like the fact that the bin store owners and the bin store employees are pulling out all the good stuff. They're putting it online. They're pricing and marking it up higher and putting it along the wall. And so there's just nothing good left in the bins anymore. Customers are constantly complaining that items in the bins are missing pieces or they're broken. Bin stores are always messy. It's the same stuff over and over again. So shopping there is boring. I mean, the list just goes on and on. So now before I owned a bin store, I was a bin store shopper. So I like to think that I can understand this from both sides of the coin. I sat down to record this video the first time, and I realized that more of my bin store owner negativity mindset started coming through a lot more than the understanding customer perspective side. And so I ended up just like scrapping the whole thing because I figured that you guys wouldn't want to just listen to me sit here and complain the entire time. But I am actually the member of a few different Facebook groups. And one of those Facebook groups has an admin that is a really good friend of mine named Colton Carlson. So Colton Carlson is actually really, really big in this industry. He has done over $10 million in revenue. He used to be the owner of a bin store. He currently owns a liquidation store now, along with other businesses. So I really think what he has to say holds a lot of weight because he has a really, really good understanding of this market. He has a lot of in-depth knowledge about the liquidation industry. And when he talks, I listen. You know, when my bin store first started struggling, he called me to talk about it and try to talk about some solutions that I could make. Every time he opens his mouth, I listen. So imagine my surprise that the same week that I try to sit down and record this video and I'm just like a venting, complaining mess about it, I go in this Facebook group and he has posted a video talking about this very topic that I was going to record on today. And no, he had no idea that I was planning to do this video this week. He just filmed this video on his own accord. I think that it's because this industry right now is coming to such a head, and there's so many businesses out there that are frustrated and they feel like they keep making wrong moves, and no matter what they try, they just keep feeling like they're failing their businesses. And we've reached the point where we've come to a head in this industry, and there's not a lot of people that want to talk about this industry in a negative light, whether it's fear of being blackballed in the market or for fear of being ridiculed, that their business failing is their own fault and they're just not good at it, when in all actuality, there is a lot more to it than people realize. So people that have not been approved to join this Facebook group do not have access to this video. However, with Colton's permission, I am going to view it with you right now because I think it has a lot of really good insight into bin stores as a whole right now. It also has a lot of insight into what is happening with the liquidation market right now. And as we watch his video, I'm going to elaborate from my perspective as someone who is currently owning a bin store during this tumultuous time.
Today's video topic, I'm going to be discussing if the bin store model is viable, still a viable model in today's market in 2023. I haven't made a video in a few months. However, I've been putting a lot of thought into creating a daily video that is just value driven based on my experience in the liquidation industry. I've done bin stores, small scale, large scale. I've done over $10 million in revenue in the bin store industry, so I really know all about it. And I get calls all the time from people struggling who own a bin store. And the reality is there's a lot of people out there hurting who own a bin store. There's people who are losing money, who cannot put food on their tables at the end of the night because they were sold on the dream of a bin store making all this money, when in reality that is not the case in today's market, unfortunately. So I want to, like I said, I want to start posting these videos, kind of share my experience, my opinions, controversial opinions at sometimes on the liquidation industry. And today's topic is going to be why I don't think bin stores, or why I know bin stores are not a viable model in 2023. So let me break this down to you. In 2019, when I was first introduced and got into the bin store market, there was about 30 bin store locations in the United States. So if you do the math, that's less than one per state. Fast forward to today in 2023, if you add up all the bin stores in the country, there's over 5,000 bin stores. Now, Amazon has grown a little bit in the past 4 or 5 years, same with Target, but not enough to keep up with the inventory. So what happens is the inventory not only gets a lot more expensive, however, the inventory becomes a lot more diluted, and you're going to see suppliers who take advantage of this.
So that first point that he just made is a huge one, and it's one that people that buy liquidation or people that buy truckloads need to understand. Going from 30 bin stores to over 5,000 bin stores in only 4 short years is a massive increase in demand. And when you're talking about a company like Amazon, yes, Amazon is huge. There are millions of different products on the site, millions of returns every single year. Bin stores that started years ago had an entirely different quality and quantity in truckloads than exists now. Like Colton just said, that is the perfect word to describe this. Everything has been diluted. There are facilities popping up everywhere. Truckloads are getting cherry picked more than ever. There are more exceptions being made regarding quality control just to fulfill quotas, just to fill trucks so that they can be sold. Not only that, but with a limited supply, there's an increased demand, which drives up price. So not only are people buying truckloads that have been just overall diluted. I really love that he used that word. That is like the perfect word to describe it. Not only are we buying truckloads in supply that has been diluted, but it costs more.
Now, I'm not saying there isn't any bin stores out there who don't make money or that aren't profitable, but 95% of the bin stores out there do not make money. Yes, it's easy to do $1 million revenue in a small little bin store, and it's a very high revenue business. But at the end of the day, that little number that really makes, or that really matters on your profit and loss statement, it's usually zero or it's in the red. And a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people, and this might be you, who are losing money were sold on this false dream of bin store making millions of dollars. They aren't going to share that story publicly. So that's why I say I know that people are struggling because I hear it all the time. You might not hear it online, or you might only hear it every now and then. You might hear the good 10 times more than the bad, but I can tell you the bad is 10 times more than the good.
Okay, as someone who currently owns a bin store, I can tell you from first-hand experience. Back in 2021, when I first opened the bin store, I was not doing anything other than running bins. I was doing $5 bins. $5 was my first day. We were doing $100,000 in profit every month. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not inflating that number. It almost felt too freaking easy. I am being so honest. It felt like it was so easy. We were making money hand over fist. We weren't pricing stuff on the sides. We weren't running stuff through eBay. We weren't doing a Facebook auction page. It was literally just lots and lots of small items in $5 bins, and then $2.50, and then $1. That's all we were doing. And we were doing 6 figures in profit every single month. Now, again, that was during Q4, so it was Christmas season. We had also just opened up the store, and we were the only bin store in the Wichita area. So that is why I was making so much damn money. But as they say, good things never last. We had a rockin' fourth quarter. Then Q1 comes. Our sales slowed down a little bit, but what hurt us more than anything was a bunch of consistent bad truckloads. It is my experience that during Q1 of every year, because that has been my experience every Q1 thus far since I've been in business here, there's always a run on truckloads. Prices usually get driven up. And unfortunately, I got saddled with a bunch of really bad truckloads. When I say bad truckloads, I mean truckloads that had trash in them, had face masks, had a bunch of Christmas decorations that nobody wanted to buy, just overall bad inventory for my store. So when I get bad inventory, I have to buy supply to replace it with so that I have something to sell in my bins. And unfortunately, that ate up all of my profits from Christmas season. So just as quickly as I made that money, it was gone. Because when you get a bad truck, you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on truckloads of potential garbage. And that's exactly what happened. Fast forward to now, I'm still bringing in the revenue, but I'm having to spend just as much as is coming in. The numbers look really good. I will do, over $500,000. But we all know gross revenue is not the same as net profit. It costs just as much money to keep this store running as comes in. And just for fun, one day I sat and I compared my current revenue and my current expenses as opposed to my expenses from 2 years ago. If I was making the same revenue that I make now with the same expenses that I had 2 years ago, I would be profitable. But here we are 2 years in the future. I am no longer profitable because of all of these cost increases. Cost increases including things like truckloads, my rent has gone up. And of course now, being as I've been here for 2 years, I now have a lot of competition. There are 7 other bin stores here, including some really big dogs with some really deep pockets. So when I opened this bin store, I was making money hand over fist. 2 years later, it's not the case anymore.
So if you're thinking about opening a bin store, do not open a bin store right now. I'm not saying that the market will ever change and the bin store model might be profitable again in the future in general. However, right now, it's not a good time to get into the market. So one thing I'm gonna talk about is the price of these truckloads now. Back in, let's say even 2020, end of 2020, early 2021, you could get a raw unprocessed bin store truckload for about $10,000, $12,000, which was reasonable. And this was kind of before Amazon Warehouse really started blowing up, which if you don't know what Amazon Warehouse is, pretty much if a pair of AirPods gets returned on Amazon, instead of throwing it into a bin store truckload like they would have done previously, they throw that back into Amazon warehouse, so you no longer see or get those AirPods that you normally would have seen, if that makes sense. So this makes it extremely tough, especially if you have eBay as part of your model, because you're just not going to see the same amount of eBay that you would have seen in these truckloads. And on top of that, these truckloads are $20,000-$25,000 now, whereas they were $10,000 to $12,000 when you used to see all the AirPods in them, and now they're twice the price. And that is if you're lucky to get that type of load, because a lot of these suppliers will pull out the good stuff in these truckloads, you know. And when I say good stuff, they're pulling out anything $25 and over sometimes. Now, I think some processors, you know, only pull $100 plus. Now that's reasonable depending on the price of the load. However, it's just tough, you know, if you invest $40,000 into your bin store and you only have $20,000 to work with inventory, you're one bad truckload away from going out of business or going bankrupt. And it happens every day. And I say every day because there are literally bin stores. Now there's so many bin stores in the country that every day there is one closing and there is another one opening, because people get sold on this false reality that the bin store industry is a cut and dump $1 million business. And it was at one point. It was, I would say. I mean, maybe not as fruitful as some people think it is even today, but it was profitable at one point. Now, I would never think about opening another bin store unless the prices change drastically, which I don't see happening unless Amazon somehow is able to double in size or quadruple in size and half of the bin stores in the country close, maybe.
I fully believe that the reason why there are 7 other bin stores here now just in the last 2 years is because of the long lines that I had. When I first opened my bin store, our first day of the week, people would start lining up at 5:30 in the morning. 5:30 in the morning. We would have lines wrapped around the building. This was like the place to come. Like I said, I was doing 6 figures in profit, not revenue, profit. And we would all the time get people walking in the store and they would just video the crowd and leave. And every time something like that happened, I remember I would look at my employees, or my mom was helping me with the store at the time. So I'd look over at my mom and I'm like, they are going to open a bin store. I am willing to bet they will open a bin store, because we would just have random people come in and film, or they would look at our inventory, or they would ask questions about where the stuff came from. It was just oddly suspicious. And looking now, there definitely is this perception of instant success. Like Colton said, it was like a cut and dump $1 million business. All you have to do is get a truckload, dump some stuff in bins, and then people just flock in to buy it. It looks so easy. No organization, no cleanup. You're only open a few days a week. Like, who wouldn't want to run a business like that? If you think you can find supply and you can get a space leased out, who wouldn't want that kind of success? Because I'll tell you, in the beginning, it was a massive success. Like I said before, it was almost like it was easy money. I could not believe it. But then what Colton said really does ring true. One bad truckload away from going out of business. Back in Q1 of 2022, when I said I got bad truckloads back to back and it ate through all of my profits from my first year, I really do shudder to think what would have happened had I not had all those profits. You know, I spent 6 figures on truckloads in a very short period of time because I kept getting bad truckload after bad truckload after bad truckload. Had I not had all of those profits from the quarter before, where would that money for truckloads have come from? I wouldn't have had it. I would have had 1 or 2 bad truckloads and been shut down. Now, Colton's video is almost finished, but I do want to add something to his video when he gets done. I want to also talk about how there are other things about bin stores that customers might complain about, not realizing the true cause of it. But I'm going to let Colton finish telling us what he has to say, and then we'll get into that.
But it's just, yeah, that's my opinion. If you want to open a bin store, don't open it. Don't listen to the broker who sells bin store truckloads, who says, yes, open a bin store, because let's be honest, they just want your money. They just want to make commission on you. So listen to people who have experience in this industry. I would recommend visiting multiple bin stores, fly out to go see some bin stores who actually have success, try to speak to other business owners, bin store owners who have been in the market, and don't just listen to the good, listen to the bad as well, if you don't take my word for it. With that being said, there's a lot of other ways you can make money in liquidations. I still have a retail store, for example, which is way easier and a lot more profitable, in my opinion, than a bin store. And, you know, some people do appliance stores, mattress stores. There's so many different outlets and truckloads and liquidations and ways that you can make money. So again, my name is Colton Carlson. If you found any value in this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Colton Carlson 1996. I have nothing to sell. Please don't call me for bin store truckloads. I really don't sell those anymore. But the whole point of my video and my content is to provide value, because I genuinely enjoy making these videos, and I want to post more. So if you found some value in this, let me know if anything, or if you have a video topic idea or question you want me to hit, let me know. I've got a lot of experience in this industry, especially in the bin store industry, so I am here to help. And thanks for watching, and have a fantastic rest of your day.
So Colton is absolutely right. Of course, you know, when I first started running into issues with my bin store, I did call him to get some of his advice, because I knew that he was no longer owner and operator of a bin store. He actually started a new liquidation store, and I wanted to kind of bend his ear a little bit about what that process was like, what his profit margins were like, and what he thought I could do to kind of adjust my store model to make it more profitable, because my bin store was not profitable and it was just continuing to go downhill. And a lot of the changes that I enacted in the store was because of his advice. And I can tell you that after following his advice, I did start to become more profitable than I had been in a really long time. It really does come down to controlling your prices and your profit margins, which a bin store does not allow owners to do. When you have a traditional bin store model and you have a decreasing price every single day, depending on what day of the week it is, you are essentially turning over your profit margins to your customers. Customers are then able to dictate which day they are going to shop, which reflects what price they are going to pay, which means they determine your profit margins. So if your first day of the week happens to be a snow day or a rainy day and nobody wants to come in and shop, well, then most of your inventory is going to sell for a much lower price, which means you're probably either going to break even or lose money that week. And if you've already had a bad week or two that month, your whole month is shot. So another thing that Colton did not talk about, which I'm not surprised he didn't talk about it, because he's not really talking about the trouble with bin stores right now from a buyer perspective. He's more so talking about from a business owner of a bin store perspective. One of the other reasons why bin stores are really just not that great right now, from a lot of what customers are saying to me, feedback I'm getting from other shoppers, feedback I'm getting from my own viewers. Now, this is going to sound blamey, but stick with me. Another big reason why bin stores suck right now is the fault of the customer. I said it. I'm sorry. Customers are a big reason why a lot of bin stores really suck right now. Let me explain exactly why. It's because bin store customers really don't care about taking care of any property, and that ruins the entire customer experience for everybody else. I can't even put into words the amount of destruction that I have seen customers do to inventory that they have not paid for. Customers will completely damage merchandise. They'll rip open boxes, they'll scatter pieces, they'll break things. Every month, I probably lose thousands of dollars worth of merchandise just from destructive customers being jerks. And I know that my bin store is no exception. It's the rule. So that means that there's a lot of bin store owners that are out there dealing with this same level of destruction in their stores, which probably leads them to really think twice about what kind of items they're putting in their bins. For instance, there was an item in particular that I remember taking the chance putting in the bins. It was this professional grade GoPro accessory set. I knew that it was worth well over $100, but I wanted to have it as a feature item in the bins. You know, I wanted to post a sneak peek photo on our Facebook page. I wanted to use it to drive traffic into the store for $5 a day. I knew I was taking a risk putting an item like this in the bins because I knew if just one or two pieces was missing, the whole kit wasn't worth nearly as much money. I watched someone zip open the case from across the store, of course. I watched someone unzip the case and dump out all the pieces. Why? Why? I suspect that the reason why this happened this way was because there was a bunch of people. It was a frantic, chaotic Black Friday kind of mess. They probably unzipped the case really quick because they wanted to see what was in it. And then when they deciphered that it wasn't, you know, exactly what they wanted, they just threw it back in the bins and moved on with the next item. And that is just one example of the kind of destruction that would happen at bin stores. It would render valuable items useless and unsellable. Just the sheer destruction and carelessness of customers. And I know that I, as a bin store owner, that makes me not want to put those kind of items in the bins. You know, I don't want to put electronics out in the bins because someone's probably going to end up breaking it by throwing crap around. You know, I could sit here for an hour talking about the destructive and violent nature of customers. Did you know that I caught somebody setting up mouse traps in my bins? Yeah, that level of violent. That creates liabilities as a business owner. And think about what it does to the customer shopping experience. If you're a customer digging in a bin store and you stick your finger into a mouse trap and it gets snapped, are you going to want to go back and shop there? I wouldn't. And as a bin store owner, this kind of thing also really pisses me off because damaging the customer experience is bad enough, let alone it's something that I as a business owner can't control. I can't be everywhere at once. I can't watch every single customer all the time. So it just gets really under my skin when customers say things like, man, this place is trashed, or there's nothing good in the bins anymore, or it's not what it used to be. Because most, if not all, of those things are completely out of the owner's control. And a lot of customers just don't understand that. A lot of people that shop at bin stores just don't understand that there are so many factors that determines the customer experience that is just completely out of the owner's control. So if you're seeing more damaged items or more missing pieces, that's likely the doing of other customers. If you're seeing less valuable items in truckloads, it might just be because of that diluted inventory. Or maybe the bin store owner had to pull those valuable items to sell them out elsewhere because they're just trying to stay afloat. This entire video may or may not be relevant to your situation, but it is a video that I wanted to do because part of me wanted to put this information out there for anybody who might be contemplating opening a bin store or someone who frequents bin stores that may be disappointed in the bin store that they go to. And maybe it's just an overall general plea to just Give bin store owners some grace because we are just doing the best that we can. And to also serve as a warning if you're wanting to open some kind of a store and you're thinking about doing a bin store. Just like Colton said, there are a lot better options not doing a bin store, but just having a regular liquidation kind of store where you control your margins, you control your inventory a little bit more. And it's to also serve as a warning when buying truckloads. A lot of brokers and a lot of truckload sellers are wolf in sheep's clothing. A lot of them just want to make money and they don't care how diluted or trash the product is to get it. But anyways, thank you guys for watching and thank you for hearing my perspective of this entire situation. I hope that you got something from it. I hope that you got some value. I hope you got some insight. I will put all of Colton's information down in the video description below. He is a friend of mine. He is a very, very reputable seller. And I know that he is going to start putting out some more content and he really does have a wealth of knowledge in the industry. So I highly recommend that you go follow him. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video and appreciate this kind of transparency, I would really appreciate it if you'd hit that thumbs up button. The YouTube algorithm also really likes it when you do that, so I appreciate it. Questions or comments, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and ring that notification bell. That way you're notified whenever I post another video. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.